Before we get started with today's lesson, I would like you to factor the following trinomials. X squared minus 10x plus 24. There's the answer. Now try x squared plus 10x plus 9. The next one is x squared minus 6x minus 40. Notice that the next one, x squared plus 6x minus 40, has the same last term, but the sign of the middle term is the only thing that's changed. What do you think will happen with the signs? Factor it and find out. Today's lesson is 7.4, and it's factoring a trinomial when a is not equal to 1. Have no fear, Unfoil Dog is here to give you all the steps that you need. You may want to take notes. So the first thing that we have to do is look for a greatest common factor. So we'll look at a trinomial and see if there's anything in common for any of the terms. Next, we'll identify the a, the b, and the c terms in the trinomial while they're in standard form. We're going to go back to using those diamonds because you guys did so well using the diamonds the other day to start with the factoring when a was equal to 1. Now we're going to use those diamonds to help us through these problems. We're going to use the numbers from the diamonds to rename the middle term, solve the problem by grouping, and then we're all done except to check. Please make sure you take notes. Write all of these down because it's going to help. Take a look at this first problem. You know that this is what standard form should look like, ax squared plus bx plus c. And the problem that we're going to work on is 2x squared plus 13x plus 6. First, look for a greatest common factor. 2 and 6 have a common factor of 2, but 2 doesn't go into 13. And 6 is missing that x value. Step number 2 is identify the a, b, and c terms. So if I look at this trinomial that's in standard form, the a is the coefficient of the x squared, the b, 13, is the coefficient of the x, and the c, 6, is the constant. Step number 3, set up a diamond where the top number is the product of a and c, and the bottom is the b, the middle term. So you'll notice that a times c for this problem is 12, and the b is 13. So just like before, what two numbers will multiply together to get 12, that when you add them together, you'll get 13. 12 and 1 are what you would get. Now in step number 4, I'm going to use the left and right numbers of the diamond to rename the middle term. So 12 and 1 become 12x and 1x. Now I'm just going to solve the problem by grouping, just like we did before. Group the first two terms together, group the second two terms together, factor out the greatest common factor, and put together the two binomials. The first one is the common parentheses that you have in both, and the second one is the greatest common factor out here and here. The only thing that you have left to do is check. And how would we check? We check by foiling. X times 2x is 2x squared. 1x 12x for a total of 13 x's, and 6 times 1 is 6. We did it perfectly. Watch again. 2x squared minus 9x plus 9. Common factor? Nope. Next step, identify the A, the B, and the C. Next, set up my diamonds. Top number is 2 times 9 is 18. The middle term is negative 9. What two numbers multiply together to get 18 that when added together get a negative 9? A negative 6 times a negative 3 is a positive 18, but a negative 6 plus a negative 3 is equal to a negative 9. Use the left and right numbers to rename the middle term. So now instead of it being a negative 9x, it's going to be a negative 6x minus 3x. Next, solve by grouping. And last but not least, check. X times 2x is 2x squared. Negative 3x, negative 6x together equals negative 9x. And a negative 3 times a negative 3 is a positive 9. We're going to guide you along in this one more time. Look for a GCF. Identify the A, B, and C terms. Set up a diamond where the top number is the product and the bottom is the B. What two numbers multiply together get a negative 12, but add together to get an 11? Next, use the left and right numbers of the diamond to rename the middle term. Solve by grouping. You should have gotten this as an answer. Check your problem by foiling it and make sure that you get the same answer that you started with. Start again. Look for a GCF. 6x squared, 20x, 16. Share a factor of 2. I factor the 2 out on the outside, but now remember that that has to stay with the problem the whole way through. Find the two numbers that multiply together to get a negative 24, but add together to get a 10. Rename my middle term. Solve by grouping. Find the greatest common factors and put the factors together. You'll notice that this factor of 2 stays with the problem the whole way. This one's for you. But before you begin, do you see any factors in common? Once you're finished solving this problem and entering that answer, you can go on to the assessments exercise.